Hello, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the webinar. My name is Josh McDaniel. I work with the Wildland Fire Lessons Learned Center. I'll be introducing the presenter today and moderating the question and answer session after the presentation. This webinar is part of an ongoing webinar series. We've been going on for a couple of years now, and it's a jointly sponsored webinar series sponsored by the Joint Fire Science Program, the Wildland Fire Lessons Learned Center, and the International Association of Wildland Fire. For the first few months of 2014, we're focusing on smoke science and some of the recent projects funded by JFSP that are starting to produce some results. And today's webinar is a part of that series. Smoke science is likely to increase in priority over coming years due to a combination of air quality regulations, increasing urban interface, and potential climate change impacts. And JFSP research is trying to address that issue by helping to validate smoke models, projections, improve understanding of emissions and dispersion and chemistry, and increasing understanding of human health issues surrounding smoke and then public attitudes towards smoke, and then also looking at climate change and smoke. Okay, and so we've shown here the sort of the four pillars of the smoke science research plan, JFSP's smoke science research plan. Today, Yong Liu is going to be talking about smoke plume rise models, but there are some other upcoming webinars in the smoke science series as well. Oh, let me put this in slideshow. Sorry about that. The next one coming up is Talat Adman is going to be presenting on March 4th on predicting smoke impacts within certain emissions and meteorology, and Warren Heilman will be speaking on April 9th on predicting local smoke dispersion during intense wildfires in forested environments. And there might be one in between that. We're trying to get that one locked down as well as there's actually two webinars probably going to be between those two. We just haven't got the titles and the dates set, but check back with us on that. And you can find out about webinars here on this page. All the upcoming webinars are on the Advances in Fire Practice page, and this is part of the Wildland Fire Lessons Learned Center's website, so you can see there it's under the Resources tab. If you come to the Advances in Fire Practice, lots of good stuff there, but the webinars are up on the right-hand corner. It shows the schedule with links to register as well. You can also get on the Lessons Learned Center's mailing list. I imagine a lot of you came to this webinar through that, and we send out notices on all the upcoming webinars. Okay, so on to today's webinar. If you have a question during the webinar, type it into the questions or the chat box, and we'll get to it towards the end of the webinar after the presentation. But the sooner you get it in, the sooner we'll be able to get to your questions. Also, the webinar is being recorded and is archived in the Wildland Fire Lessons Learned Center's YouTube channel, and the link to that will be on the Advances in Fire Practice page here as well. I usually get those up a couple hour, 2 hours after the presentation. Okay, so on to today. Yong Liu is going to be presenting on plume rise models, some of his work on that. Yong is a team leader and research meteorologist with the atmospheric science team for the U.S. Forest Service's Southern Research Station, and his research is working on fire and climate interactions, smoke dynamics, and climate change. He's also an adjunct professor at the Georgia Institute of Technology and George Mason University, and he's been collaborating with faculty there on smoke and fire projects. And with that, I will turn it over to Yong. Hi, Yong, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but
okay.
I try to bring up. Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank JFSP, WFLL, and IAWF for providing this opportunity to talk about our JFS project, and also thank everyone for attending this webinar. This project entitled evaluation and improvement of smoke plume rice model. Was conducted together with my colleague Gary Actimis, category from Forest Service, Southern Research Station, Bill Jackson from Forest Service Region 8, and John Q from George Mason University. I cannot move my screen. Let me see.
Try it now, Young. Let's see if that.
My screen is freezing.
Here, I'm going to take the screen back, and while I have it, close as many things as you can on your computer.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get this going here in just a second. Okay, Young, so here, I'm going to hand it back to you now.
Now it's fine, right?
Okay, here it comes.
Okay. Here are things I'm going to talk. First, the critical management issues and the major science gaps, and then the research method and research results. Then what's the possible useful information for solving the critical management issue and the major science gaps. Then what's the benefit?
Young, try again real quick to bring your screen up.
Can you see the screen now?
No.
No.
Here, one more try. Let me see.
Here,
let's see. Okay, now. Okay, now it's coming.
Okay. Okay, just to repeat the outline. First of all, talk about critical management issue, the major science gaps, then the research methods and the results, and then what's the possible significance for solving the management issue and the science gaps, and what's the benefit from this work for other possible studies, and what's the products available for manage and other research. So last month, Xiang talked in a webinar about the various components of smoke modeling. And he indicated that the validation of modeling tools is a major issue for fire and smoke management. Our JFSP project dealt with the same management issue, that is the evaluation of the smoke models. But our project is focused on one of the smoke modeling components, which is Plume rise. In addition to that, because Plume rise is a relatively new research area, so understanding the related smoke dynamics and improving model performance is highly desired by management and also scientists. Plume rise, by definition, is the height of the top of a smoke plume. It's one of the important factors for smoke and air quality simulations. Fire emissions, for example, if the emission go above the PBL height or boundary layer, then a majority of smoke particles will be likely to be transferred out of the burning area. So there is a high possibility to impact downwind, big cities. The figure on the left bottom is an example of how important for simulation of plume rise. This is for March 2002 for the Southeast United States emission from prescribed burn. So without calculation of plume rise, the model, which is CMAC, will produce about 20% more in the burned area than if we have a scheme to calculate the plume rise. So this means less particles will be transported to other areas like Atlanta. So this parameter is required in many regional air quality model like CMAC. Also, it's part of blue sky when simulate the air quality impact of wildfire. So what about the scientific gaps? First thing is that there have been many plume rise models which are developed recently. These models basically can be categorized into three categories, three types. One is the empirical models, which use statistical or similarity theory to develop a relationship between plume rise and field or the meteorological properties based on field or lab measurement. This kind of model is static and basically is for specific locations. Examples of this type of model is the brick scheme, which has been used widely in air quality simulation community. The second category is dynamic model, which fully solve for differential equations, which basically is the conservation equations of mass, momentum, and energy. There is a need to integrate over time, also over space. So it's very complex. The third one is the kind of combination of these two models, which in the nature is statistical, but there is a need for integration over time and space. This model is one of this such model. So the issue with this model is very few evaluation has been conducted for these models. One of the big reasons is the lacking of field measurement. In recent years, there is a remote sensing technique which can be used to do this evaluation. Our project uses another approach, which is doing the ground measurement to create plume rise for prescribed in the south, then evaluate empirical models such as day smoke. Another issue, the scientific gap is that, as I said, brick scheme has been widely used for fire research, but this model originally developed for stacker plumes from a power plant. So a lot of parameters of the situation are different from wider than fires. Recently, there is a modification to this scheme with modified calculation for heat release, but still the physics involved in this brick scheme is the same. Another gap is that most plume rise model we have been used is developed using information from wildfire. For Southeast, we dealing with prescribed burn, there might be uncertainty if you use this kind of model. So the approach we used basically three things. One is we measure Plume rise, use equipment called ceilometer. This is a device originally to determine the height of clouds. But in recent years, there is more applications to air pollution research in urban area, also in the countryside. This device can reach up to like 7,500 meters high with a frequency as high as 2 seconds. It can detect as many as 3 pollution layers in vertically. The second approach is to analyze improvement and evaluate dead smoke, which is a tool for specifically for prescribed burn in the south. This model has several components which are used to define the boundary of plumes, predict the upper move of the plumes, also the drop out of particles from the plumes, and there is a component which predict the impact of large eddy or turbulence on smoke plume movement. Also, there is a component which is used to determine the height of plume. The third approach, I'm sorry, there is another. Okay, the third approach, which is to develop regression models for plume rise calculation, use the plume rise data obtained from the field measurement. The meteorological field will be was obtained from WRF simulation, also from ROS measurement. So here are the results for field measurement. We conducted measurement at 4 locations in southeast, which for Collins and Eglin, the military bases, and the Oconee and the Piedmont National Forest and refugees, both, I mean, all the 3 except Eglin are located in Georgia. Eglin is in the Florida. And we measured a total 20 burns. Here is a list of these burns. Let me see. The measurement was conducted during 2009 through 2011. 5 of these burns were in winter, 13 were in spring, and 2 in summer. The burn area, about like 5 is less than 5 acres, then 6 between 5 and 1,000 acres, and 8 burns between 1,000 and 2,000 acres, and the 2 burns had area over 2,000. About half of them burns initiated with area, and the other are initiated from the ground. Here are photos for each of these 20 burns. About most cases are like a clear sky, but for a few of them with partly clouds or even overcast. This is the signal received by the ceilometer. Basically, there are 3 types of fluctuations or changing with time. One is relatively uniform, don't change much with time. So the first one you see here, there is like where the time scale about 7 minutes or less than 1 hour. The second type, like it changes with time, basically kind of like change increase with following the increase of boundary layer. But there is variation between different periods. See, there's two strong signal between 10 and before noon, and another one between like 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So there is a larger variation with the time scale of several hours. Then the third type is kind of with some caps on the top of the smoke plume. There are two types of caps. One is the clouds, as seen from this picture, and the other is there is an inverse layers. So basically the smoke plume was developed but cannot penetrate into above the PBL. This is the average for each of the 20 burns. So here the blue means winter, green is spring, and red is summer. So on average for this 20 burns, the plume rise is high, about like 1 kilometer. There is a chance for plume rise to increase from winter to summer. This is the information for regression models. The top 10 is the coefficients for the regression models. Basically for this, we have 4 parameters or meteorological values. Surface wind, field temperature, field moisture, and PBR height. There are two types of two forms of regression models. One is for hourly, the other is for the average over entire measurement period. So there is a different coefficients corresponding to different type of plume rise height. The second, the middle table shows the statistics of the regression models. Basically, the mean error or root mean squared error, and also there is F and P values to indicate the statistics and the significance of these equations. So from the middle table, we can see all these models are significant at the 99% confidence level. The last table on the bottom, we did a closer validation test showing those cases which above average or below average or in the middle. Both testing results shows the significance of this model. This is the comparison between the simulation and the measurement. So we compare for 3 different forms of regression models. On the top is for hourly, the bottom is for average. So basically, the simulation follows the evaluation quite well with time, but there is some some point where measurement is extremely high or extremely low, but the model cannot catch that magnitude. This is also see the top is for the hourly, the bottom is for the average. So you see the fitting rate is much higher for the average model, which means it's the scale for the average model is better than the model for the hourly. In order to improve dead smoke, one thing we consider is to try to include a parameter or a smoke property called multiple absorption core. Mostly we will see one single plume, but if we look at it in detail, sometimes one can see like this. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 different absorbed cores. So with this cause, because the energy released from burn distributed among these different cores, so the energy may be smaller for individual observed core, then plume rise might be smaller than if we only consider one single plume. So Gary Actimar developed this idea and also included this property into the dead smoke calculation. Then we use a technique called fast amplitude sensitive test to see how important this parameter is for plume rise calculation. So we put all the parameters in dead smoke with a certain range of variation, then see what's the response from the model in terms of the variation of smoke plume rise. So this figure shows two parameters. One is the core number, the other is entrainment, contribute most to the variation of plume rise. Each contribute more than like 30%. Then if we run the model with different number of core, you see the left one is for 10 core, then right is 4 cores. So with the increase of the core number, the plume rise will be reduced dramatically. So this could impact the CMAC or other regional air quality model simulations of air quality impact of smoke. This is an example from a pressure burn on the border of Tennessee and North Carolina. The top one is the PM concentration at the ashware. So the peak amount is about 130 microgram per cubic meters. Then if we run the model with two different settings of core number, one is a single core, the other is 10 cores. Then single core produced the peak concentration of PM 2.5 at about 75, which is only half of the measurement amount. But if we increase the number to 10, we will get pretty much the same magnitude of the PM 2.5 concentration. So we see the difference using different number of core, but problem is that this property is normally not measured. We can use a camera to take a picture, but number one, the core changes with time. Number two, like for the past or historical burn cases, we didn't have a photograph. So in order to solve this problem, we developed a model called Raptor rules to estimate the core number. So this is a 5-spray model. The idea behind this is that if there is heat release, that will change the pressure, then this will further drive the surface wind, and the wind is the major or primary driver for the 5-spray, both direction and the speed. Also, we consider the contribution from fuel distributions. There is a complex model which consider full smoke dynamics. This Raptor rules model uses another approach with which basically use a technique called serial automata to get some empirical relationship between fuel and fire behavior and the meteorological fields like wind pressure. So here is an example I just showed. 4 core cases use Raptor rules. We are able to reproduce this 4 core structure for this burn. Okay, we also tested dead smoke coupled with rapid loss model to see how this model reacts to promolase. So the top one, both cases are for bones in egg-laying. The top one, see, in the beginning, the model produced height quite well, but in the later stage, the prediction is lower. For another case, it's just opposite. Again, in the first half of this simulation period, it's pretty good, but after that, the simulation is actually larger than the measurement promolase. That was for case evaluation. Then we use all the 20 bones to evaluate, to get a statistical meaning of the model performance. So this is the comparison between the measurement, the red bar, and the simulation with blue bars. So for most cases, the model produced a reasonable well magnitude of promolase. But for some like bones, especially several larger promolase, the model produced much higher. So on average, the mean error is in tens of meters, but the root mean squared error is over 200 meters. So this is like something need to be improved with dead smoke. In terms of a vertical profile, here is a simulation of dead smoke or vertical profile. For most cases, we see the largest value appears either in the top, like these cases, or in the middle portion of the plume. But if we look at the measurement, most of the largest value is either in low the portion or in the middle portion of the plume. So the vertical simulation of a vertical profile is another challenge and need to be improved with dead smoke. So what's the significance of this result for possibly solve or contribute to solve the critical management issues and the scientific gaps? First of all, we have this measurement. This could be used as like empirical estimate of promolase in case there is no modeling available. For example, as a first order approximation, we can use the average of 1 kilometer as an estimate of promolase for spring and fall season, and reduce this amount by like 200 meters for winter season, and increase by 200 meters for summer. If we want go to like get a more accurate estimate, then we can use many other modeling tools, including dead smoke and regression models we used for this project. Then one possible contribution is the development of the multiple core concept, also the tools developed to simulate this property. So this could be used for other smoke promolase modeling as well. Then we kind of have uncertainty estimate for smoke promolase by using dead smoke as an example. So basically, what we learned is there is improvement needs for like some individual bones which higher promolase. Also, the vertical profile is an area we need to improve. These results could be used by other research projects or in future projects as well. One thing is we have the ceilometer which is used to detect polymerize. It also has the capacity to get the signal with very high frequency variations. This is an example for Boeing in New Jersey 2 years ago. Warren Hillman was conducting another GFSP project. So they need turbulence and also the interaction with canopy, the smoke interaction with canopy. So they need to know the fluctuations. So we brought up the thermometer in the Boeing side, then measure the polymerize and other smoke property. Here is analyze use wavelet to see what's the major time scales involved in the fluctuations. So here we see several major, the long-term and also some medium-term and very fast fluctuations with the smoke variations. The schemes we used basically is for prescribed burn. There is other type of burns like agriculture burns. There are some projects going on, so it will be interesting to see if this smoke and other polymerize for forest and storage burn could be used to other like agriculture burn. This is an example. Not long ago, we talked this possibility with Xiang, who was working with a group from Washington State, working on agriculture in that state. So that might be something. That project might be interested in using this smoke and other regulation model to check if this model works for agriculture burn as well. And another possible benefit is to coupling this smoke and other polymerize models with regional air quality model. So here is an example conducted by Georgia Tech. So they developed adaptive grader CMAC specifically for simulation of smoke from prescribed in the south or other regions. So they coupled this smoke with their model, then test several cases. And for most of these cases, they show very promising results, which show the improved scales if coupling with this smoke for polymerize calculation. So the products could be provided in several formats. One is the models and the tools. The models including dead smoke regulation models and raptor rules. The models basically are using Fortran to code the program. They are stored in Shramsey with 1,000. It's a fire and meteorological modeling center in cooperation with University of Georgia. So here is a website where people can find the code of these models. A second form of products are the data, including measurement from thermometer, also the wolf simulations, and the calculation of fire emissions. Those data sets are also available from the Shramsey website. Also, this data provided to CMIP for intercomparison of different models. And another form of products are journal publications. So far, we have 8 journal papers. 5 of them are published. 1 is accepted. 2 are completed, but still waiting for submission. So for next steps, major things we are in plan, including first is to complete the web and GIS version of this smoker. This work has been conducted for a while, but so far the GIS version is almost done, but still there's some final work to do to finish that. Also, we need to develop the web version. So that will be provide the managers with like a more convenient, friendly used model. The second thing we plan to do is to test this smoker and other models for other regions. Also, as I mentioned, for other type of prescribed pollen like agricultural pollens. Then we plan to use rapid loss to produce not only like the number of aperture of the cores, but also all other parameters needed for run this smoker, like heat release and the difference of temperature between the plume and the environment and the initial velocity. So all these products, if we need like more information or need these products or have any questions, we can contact me or any of our teams. Here is my email. And finally, I would like to thank GFSP for developing the smoke science project and to provide funding support for this project. Also, my colleague Ken Provost, David Cover, and Tim Gator, who provide supporting doing field measurement. And also lots of help supporting from the field, from Eglin and for Bennings, Oconee, and also Piedmont, and UGA and Georgia Forest Commissioner. With this, with the help from them, we were able to finish this project. So this is what I would like to report to you. Thank you for your attention again, and I'm ready for answer what the question you might have.
Okay. Thank you, Yong. That was very good. That was very interesting. So go ahead and type questions in if you have them, and we'll read them out and have Yong reply. And while we're waiting for those to come in, I had a couple. There was one slide a few slides back where there was a picture of a balloon. What was going on there?
Let me go back.
Yeah, that one more.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this. I guess this is a Plume from EPA. I saw this was in like agriculture in Northwest, but I saw they used this Plume in Eglin to conduct the cultural field measurement. So this measure like smoke properties, also some other things. So get concentration and other things from smoke plume.
Okay. Okay. So we have a couple. Oh, Karsten Baumann wrote, and he said this pic was taken at Camp Lejeune during prescribed burn in 2011.
Okay. Yeah, I was in a smoke symposium last October. There was a presentation for their project, and then I searched the web to find this photograph.
So that the balloon goes up above the plume and collects data in some sort of data collector that's suspended. Okay. Jessica McCarty says that she was looking for the rabbit rules model at the website that you listed. I won't read out the URL, but she can't find it listed in the directory. Where would someone be able to find the rabbit rules model?
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry that we put this project was finished like 2 years ago. By then, we put all data models available at that time in the Schramm's website. The RACT law actually, the idea was developed at that time, but the paper and the model itself was like completed later. So we haven't put that model in the website yet, but we'll do that very soon.
Okay. Edward Heyer asks, it looks like the observations have a smaller dynamic range than the model estimates. Why do you think this occurs, and could some tuning improve these results?
Let me see. Could you repeat the question?
Sure. He said, it looks like the observations have a smaller dynamic range than the model estimates. Why do you think this occurs, and could some tuning improve these results?
What we found actually, the model produced like smaller range than the measurement. If the range is like the change between the maximum and the minimum values of Plume lines. So basically the model was unable to produce the larger variability of small Plume lines. The reason is that like a static model is basically to try to get as like best as possible the average, not the extreme cases.
Okay. So if you were going to, just summarize the one take-home message for fire managers or land managers from the results of this study, what would that one take-home message be?
Maybe we should be very careful when we use the existing Plume lines models. Most used like brick scheme and fifth scheme, because we test this scheme for the data we collect. There are cases the results are way like different from the measurement. And the reason is this model basically developed not for Plume lines or for prescribed burns. So we still have time. We still need time to improve develop models specifically for prescribed burn cases in Southeast or other regions.
Okay. Well, Yong, that was very interesting, and we appreciate your time, and thank you for everything, and thank you for a great presentation.
Okay, thank you.
And thanks everyone for coming. Check back with us. The next webinar is on March 4th, and you can register for that on Advances in Fire Practice, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.